3、2、1。
Mic check 1 2. What it do? Welcome back to the Mic Check podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ. Today we're talking about the lightweight division in boxing. We're talking about undisputed champion Devin Haney, former unified champion Shakur Stevenson, and probably the next face of boxing, Gervonta Tank Davis. But before we get into this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and then when it's over, go ahead and drop a comment, watch some other videos, drop some comments over there too. Let's get into it. So we're talking about 135-pound fighters, and really 135-pound and 140-pound fighters, because Gervonta Davis has already competed at 140, and Devin Haney is scheduled to compete at 140 in December for a title against Regis Prograis, who's a 140-pound champion. So let's talk about it. Will these fights ever happen between these three guys? And which fight will be better? So do you think that, and I'm talking from the Tank perspective because this is the money guy, so he's kind of the linchpin to this whole division in terms of how things are going to move and how fights are going to take place. Is him fighting Devin or him fighting Shakur a better fight? Or is Shakur versus Devin a better fight? Now, I favor Shakur heavily over Devin, just because I think that the way that he does a lot of things in the ring are kind of kryptonite to Devin, and I think it's a more entertaining fight if he fights Tank, because at least you have the element, even if he's just winning round after round, you have the element that Tank is going to be able to tap that chin at some point and possibly get a knockout. I expect him to dominate the fight against Devin, but you don't have Devin's capabilities in terms of knockouts at a high level, so I automatically favor Tank versus Shakur. Now, Tank versus Devin also doesn't have that curb appeal that Tank versus Shakur has, and it's because of Shakur's tools, right? He can manage distance well. His defense is amazing. His punch placement, he makes very little mistakes because he takes less risk than the other two, and because of that, it's going to be entertaining because you're going to have to watch Tank play chess and figure out a way to get inside and eventually touch Shakur, because otherwise you're just going to see him just, punching and moving until eventually Tank gets frustrated and maybe walks into something nasty from Shakur and finds himself on the canvas. Something that we've never seen before, but this is a year of anything can happen, of course, and it could potentially be that. But in that same regard, could be the year that we would see Shakur touch the canvas because Tank has finally gotten inside behind that high guard and made something good happen, going to the body or whatever the case may be. We saw him put out 2 knockouts in 2023 already. Now, I'm not saying these fights are going to happen this year, but I'm just talking, let's say this was next on deck. That's kind of how I would expect it to play out. Now, I'm not trying to disregard in my mind, until it's all official, undisputed lightweight champion, I'm not putting him to the side. I just think that he's not the best fighter at 135, even though he has all the belts. I didn't think that Lomachenko was the best fighter. Now, there's an argument to be made that when Tank had the opportunity a few years ago to fight Lomachenko, he avoided this fight, and I do hold that against him. I feel like to be the man, you've got to beat the man, or at least compete with the man, and he didn't do that. So it's hard to say where he would have fell in these rankings if he had faced Loma back then. But that doesn't matter right now. The big fights to talk about: when is Devin or Shakur going to sign a contract to fight Gervonta Davis? I would like to see both of them get their mettle tested. I would like to see them get in there with a heavy puncher, somebody that has concussive power. He don't just have big power. He got that Wilder power. He'll sleep you. He got that what's his name? The Filipino Flash, that kind of power. He got that you're in the way power. Them dudes will break bones on your body, sit you down for a minute, make you think about if you really want to be a boxer. And I would like to see which one of these gentlemen will step up first and make this fight happen. Specifically, I want to see Shakur, because you've already got the vacant, I believe, WBO. Then you've got the vacant WBC at 135. Kind of, they're pending, when Devin Haney steps in the ring to face Regis, he's not going to really be undisputed anymore. So it's WBA and WBC. I'm sorry. Those are the two belts that are basically going to be up for grabs. So You're going to see Tank get elevated to full champion, and I think he's earned it because he's defended his regular belt a lot. But I think he probably needs to beat somebody of championship pedigree to really be considered the champ by most general boxing fans, even though on paper he's earned that right. You defend the regular belt enough and then you go beat somebody else, you're that guy. And I think he's in that place, but I just want to see him go be the real champion. And beating Shakur while also attaining the WBC belt, which I think Shakur can earn in his next fight, will be big for these two gentlemen and big for boxing. And I think it sells more because Shakur's going to talk a little trash and get there. Devin Haney, he's a guy who likes to let his hands do the talking for him, and I don't even know if that's going to happen against Tank, so I think he needs to use his mouthpiece and say some shit that's going to get people to buy the fight, because right now people wouldn't buy that fight over Tank versus Shakur. So what do you guys think? Which one is a better matchup? How soon would you like to see it? And do you think that is going to matter if the WBA and WBC belts are on the line to create a unified champion at 135? Go ahead and drop that down in the comments. This has been T from the Mic Check Podcast. Until the next time, I'm out. Peace.